welcome to another episode of Sports Scene. I'm out here on the turf at the Bissini Sports Ground and I'm contemplating whether I should take up playing rugby or not. But while I'm still thinking about that, on tonight's episode of Sports Scene, we get to tell you a little bit about the upcoming PNG Games, which will be held in Kimbe. Also, we check up on the Kimbe Rebels and also the announcement of the Kumul's coach ahead of their test match against the Fiji Bati. Now, the PNG Games is used to identify a lot of the talent that is in around Papua New Guinea. The last one was held in Lae, and this time it will be held in Kimbe. And Elijah, tell us a bit more about PNG Games.
Now, thanks, Dion. 9 months out till the PNG Games, and operations manager Freddie Mathies says their priority right now is in constructing the venues. Lauren Genia was in Kimbe last weekend, and this is her with more update on the PNG Games.
With just 9 months remaining till the 7th PNG Games, the Host Organising Committee in Kimbe Town are depending on the contractors to carry out all infrastructural developments in time for a successful PNG Games. While Kimbe has been posed as one of the most challenging towns to host an event to cater for over 1,000 athletes from 22 provinces, Operations Manager Freddie Mathies remains optimistic.
Main focus at this point is infrastructure. 9 months out. Obviously, yes, there is concerns of whether the games will be hosted on time, but I think that's normal for people to think. I think 9 months is enough time for us to push forward with the games.
With the construction work yet to kick off on all venues, including the 4 satellite venues, already work has begun on setting the foundation.
Nivani is our major construction site, guys. They've given us a plan as to build this 3,500-seater stadium and sort out the satellite venues as well. Because we've discussed with our contractors that we want the venues to be completed by September. Gives us 2 months to sort of touch up on final things and look at other preparations as well, apart from the infrastructure.
Faced with logistical challenges, this year's games may not include all sports. Mathies says the HOC is currently set on 24 sports, including 4 para-sports with events like swimming and squash obvious exclusions.
I think our biggest challenge at this stage is the transporting of teams to particular venues that we have. We need these 4 venues to push through the games and make sure we finish in that 2-week period. At the moment, we've got 24 sports with 4 para sports. Obviously, with the venues we have, we don't have certain facilities to host games like swimming. We sort of get to choose which sports we can and can't do.
With a budget cut of 5 million kina from the national government for the 7th PNG Games, the West New Britain province have pledged their support of 20 million kina to the Host Organising Committee, which will cover preparations across the board. As Operations Manager Freddie Mathies has highlighted, the construction of infrastructure is their biggest concern and focus for now. The majority of funding from both the national government and provincial government will go towards the completion of all venues.
It was promised we get 10 million from the national government through Sports Foundation. Obviously that hasn't come through, but Western Britain has passed its budget for the province, and of course a lot of our allocations and funding will come from the Western Britain government. At the moment, just with the infrastructure alone, we've got close to about 20 million just for the infrastructure. Yeah, Rabals hosted the PNG Games before, and that was successful. Obviously, with the PNG Games coming to smaller centres, it gives us an opportunity to develop our sporting infrastructure. Obviously, everything has been based out of POM. I don't think POM should get all the sporting infrastructure. I think it's important that other provinces have an opportunity to be able to host certain events, and hopefully by the end of 2016 we'll be able to get international matches. Maybe the Hunters can come and play at our stadiums and things like that.
Executive Director of the PNG Sports Foundation, Peter Chamlili Jr., told MTV 1 million kina will be spent on the technical aspect of the games leading into the month of November.
Will be from the national government, we'll be giving 5 million. 5 million will go towards the infrastructure. 1 million of that will go towards obviously the technical aspect of the games, because we run the technical aspect. 4 million will directly go into the infrastructure, where the HOC The Host Organising Committee identifies and have got everything in place, and we just facilitate those infrastructure build-up, yeah.
Regardless of the budget cut, an announcement regarding the official sponsorship of the PNG Games is expected soon, with additional funding likely to boost this biannual event.
And that was Lauren Genia with all the update in Kimbe for the PNG Games, and join us after the break as we take a look at the Kimbe Rebels 15s and 17s. Now welcome back to the show. Now, earlier on, Dion, you were saying that you wanted to play rugby union.
Yeah, rugby, but judging from the field and how far I have to run and sun, I
Yeah,
don't
it's
think,
okay. He's not as fit as me, but
and I'm not as short as you, but
no worries.
yeah. Yes, now back to the Kimbe Rebels. At the last PNG RFU AGM, it was said that each of the teams must have a 15s competition, and Lorraine spoke to the Kimbe Rebels president, and here's what he had to say on their plans.
The PNG Rugby Football Union made it clear in their last annual general meeting, in order for each of the unions to become a fully recognised union under the PNG RFU, 15s rugby must be played consistently and regularly. West New Britain Rugby, otherwise known as the Kimbe Rebels, are understood to be one of the unions in the country which have made this a priority.
Okay, so we're planning to start our 15th season in March. Because the 7th season will start in September according to the calendar, so we haven't actually played a lot of 15s, so we need these 4 months to get our guys prepared for the 15th season, which will start in July. And it's only July, August. So we'll be mainly concentrating on our forwards, because like I mentioned, we haven't played any 15s, so we've got a lot of work to do with on our 15s.
Aiming to introduce the 15s comp in March, Rugby Sevens will resume in September, with the hope of hosting an invitational Sevens tournament before the Black Orchid Sevens in June.
We're trying to do it a month before the Black Orchid, which is in June, so May. So we're hoping to host our Sevens in May.
The Kimbe Rebels were once circuit leaders, with key players like the Ponda brothers and Rabaul rugby reps. The boys were once an unstoppable force on the field. However, the lack of development in the region has seen the standard of rugby drop. The Rebels' recent success from the Madang Kalibobo Lighthouse Sevens tournament late last year has certainly boosted the current team's morale. Last year, Rebels coach said their victory was a sign that the boys were down but not out. This year, during the CRU Invitational Sevens, the boys just missed out on a finals appearance, having gone down to the national side, the Interoil Taragus.
Yes, the win in Madang was a good morale booster for the boys. It certainly showed that we were down, but not out, as they said in the interview. But that squad had also a few junior players in it, the ones that we identified as potential Rebels players, and no, it was a good. It was a good lead into, yes.
Pryor says over the next 2 years, the province will be focused on junior development with the hope of identifying new Rebels reps and creating a pathway into the provincial side. PNG Rugby Development Manager Sailosi Druma had recently visited Kimbe to introduce the Get Into Rugby program, a development and mass participation program much the same as the Pacific and Union program.
We just had Sailosi Druma come through last week, and he's just introduced the GIR program, which was a big relief for us because we needed that launched in the schools to give us an avenue for starting to select for the younger players. 18 at the moment we're looking at 18-year-olds through to about 21. That's sort of our age range at the moment. So like I said, we ran a couple of months tournament, and we basically were just targeting the younger boys. We were actually going and asking them their age and making sure that they were within that age group. This year, or the next 2 years, our main focus is junior development. We've sort of noticed our rebels are getting older, and so we're trying to create an avenue where we can attract some younger upcoming players. We started end of last year. We managed to get some funding from the provincial government, which helped us run it was about a 2-month tournament called that was the Sasindran Mutuvel government. I'd like to say thank you to them for assisting us in that funding. So we managed to put together a junior development squad, which we call the Cutters. We went to Namatanai. They did very well in Namatanai Sevens.
Welcome back to the show. Now, as you can see, Elijah's just deserted me. I don't know where he is. He is probably running around trying to practice his rugby skills and maybe join the PNG Sevens team one day, which I think he has a very slim chance of doing. But PNG Hunters coach Michael Marum has been selected as coach of the PNG Kumuls team ahead of their match against Fiji Bati. And here's more on his announcement as coach of the PNG Kumuls.
Michael and his coaching staff will be keeping tabs on players.
PNG RFL chairman Sandy Saka said the 42-year-old is no stranger to rugby league, having played and coached the game at many levels and is fitting for the job.
Probably the most senior coach we have in this country. He's understudied a few Kumul coaches in the last 3 or 4 years. He's been to a couple of World Cups as a player and a coach, and he brings a wealth of experience and professionalism to the team. Michael, as you know, is also our SP Hunters coach for the last 2 years. He's won various awards, both domestically and internationally, as a player and a coach. And we know that for the upcoming test match, he and the team will do the boys proud. The full team of players and officials will be announced a couple of weeks prior to the test match. The team will have a week's training session in Parramatta before the test match. So I'm pleased to announce Michael as the coach for the PNG Kumuls for the May 7th test match.
Marum himself has played in the local leagues before making a debut for the Kumuls in 2000 before taking up coaching responsibilities. On the international level, Marum was assistant coach to Adrian Lam, Stanley Gene and Mal Meninga. He said he was privileged to take up the role as Kumuls coach for the match against the Bati.
Yeah, no, didn't really expect to come out and coach the side, but I think after resignation from Mal Meninga earlier on this year, and then I started talking to the chairman, and they were asking me about the Hunters job and also the Kumuls job. So, but yeah, I thought like I've been assisting the side for like over 10 years now, so probably a good chance for me to probably go in there and just lead a team for 1 year or for one game, stuff like that, and see what I can do. Yeah.
Marum's coaching techniques with the Hunters will be the same with the Kumuls, but may vary because of the level of competition.
It's going to be tough, bringing on all these other players from overseas into a different environment, into a different camp for only 1 week. And then, Fiji, as we know, they got NRL players all over the park there, but players from England will probably be eligible to play the test match, so they want to lift the ranking up as well. So, but last year they gave us a really good game in Gold Coast. So it's gonna be a tough job ahead. Yeah.
People like Israel Elliott, will he be coming back to join the national team for national duties?
I would like him to play. I think we need all our best players in there. But again, goes back to the. And now I'll be working on working with selectors now. So we got, I think, 4 or 5 selectors there that they'll be giving me names of players they think that are good and might play in the games there. So, and one thing I want to do is just probably involve some of the former Kumuls. Okay, the other older players that probably have been just doing nothing there and wanting to assist the younger boys too. So, but there are no players like Israel. There's a few good boys playing in England, although their competition is below ISC and NRL too. So, yeah, so I'll be talking to selectors.
It'll add to our international rankings. Fiji is 4th. Right now we are 14, so the teams higher up you play, you get better points. So we're looking at, PNG RFL is looking at another test in October. We'll schedule that during that ANZAC meeting, Asia Rugby League Federation meeting. But this is one test. We have the PM's 13 in September, and then we are looking at the second test in October, second week of October. We'll confirm the team and the dates after the May 7 test.
Marum's role as Kumul's coach is not permanent. It's only for the match on the 7th of May in Parramatta. Following the match, the PNG RFL board will appoint a permanent coach to lead the Kumuls to the 2017 World Cup.
And we've come to the end of the show, but before we go off, here is some of the happenings that happened over the weekend here in Port Moresby.
The 21-year-old joined the Raiders on a train and trial contract. His efforts at training were rewarded with a spot in the Auckland Nines team, scoring a try against the Dragons and later named in the trial match against the Knights, in which they went on to win 34-28. He will likely be used on the wing, but with his massive build, he may be used in the centres or at second row. From volleyball, Otio only started playing rugby league in 2014 before joining the SPPNG Hunters. His signing adds to the Raiders' depth in the back row. Sisawanga and Edric Lee are expected to get selected for the winger spot in the first match against the Penrith Panthers.
After 3 years of construction work, renovating and upgrading, the new look sports facilities in Port Moresby were finally officially open to the public for use as of yesterday. Sports Minister Justin Chichenko made mention at the opening the government's continuous support over the next 5 years to ensure the Sports Foundation, who overlook all sporting venues and infrastructure in the country, are well accounted for.
Government has committed to fund and manage and staff these venues for the next 5 years.
Chichenko said this was to ensure the facilities are maintained and looked after, with the end result having the facilities self-sufficient and self-sustained.
At the end of the day, the government's not going to allow these facilities to crumble down like before. We must support them and fund them into the future, but we would like to see these facilities get enough revenue.
Meanwhile, Executive Director of the PNG Sports Foundation, Peter Chamlili Jr., said the opening of venues and availability of use for the public is part of the Foundation's plan to generate cash flow and revenue from each of the venues.
These are all part of the plan. We haven't done anything outside of the plan, but by now operating and getting the general public coming through, we'll have first-hand experience, and so we'll do a review again after 6 months of some of the challenges that we face and some of the things that we could see that we could change a little bit.
Maintaining these sports facilities is an expensive exercise. The foundation not only has to ensure it is maintained, but managed well. This will be their biggest challenge in the coming years.
25,000 just to be able to run, and that's probably, I'm probably being conservative on that price, but on that cost.
The PNG Olympic Committee is preparing for its biggest fundraising drive, the Trukai Fun Run. Calls have been made for more corporate involvement in terms of sponsorship, 4 months away from the Olympic Games to be held in Rio, Brazil. Wife of Prime Minister Peter O'Neill and patron of the Cancer Foundation of Papua New Guinea, Linda Babao O'Neill, thanked corporate sponsor Trukai for the theme of Protect Your Family and Eat Healthy being embedded on the new shirts that will be sold prior to the run.
The PNG Cancer Foundation is determined to bring awareness that cancer can be prevented, and is so grateful to the PNG Olympic Committee and Trukai Industries for having the Cancer Foundation message, protect your family from cancer, eat healthy and exercise regularly.
President of the PNG Olympic Committee, Sir John Dawaninkura, praised the 17-year partnership that both the committee and Trukai had formed over the years as they aim for Rio.
The funds raised from Trukai will obviously give the opportunity to our athletes to achieve their dreams of competing. Some previously in other Olympics, others their first step into the arena of the Olympic Games in Rio, and they join the elite group of Olympians.
Swim star Ryan Pinney was on hand, the Pacific and Commonwealth gold medalist, stating that Rio would most likely be his swan song after the London Games, where he proved competitive against the world's best.
As Alex said, I'm getting ready for my 4th Olympics. I had no real intention of doing that. I remember stepping out of the pool in London where that video was shot, sort of almost giving a bit of a mental bow to the pool, saying thank you very much for having me, and here I am 4 years later giving it another shot.
Final remarks were given to Chef de Mission Emma Waiwai, who stated that Papua New Guinea would be aiming to compete in 7 different sports in the Olympics, which included athletics, shooting, boxing and taekwondo.
And Team PNG is very excited about the opportunity that we've been given. We may not be as many as we were last year, but I think the difference is the team going this year is the best of the best. And so our aim is to go there and perform at our optimum best and do our country proud.
In 2015, 50,000 people took part in the fun run, and the target for this year is double that number, with the run to be held on the 26th of June.
And that's all we have for you on tonight's episode of Sports Scene. Thank you very much for your company. If you want to know anything about what we've discussed on tonight's show, you can find us on MTV online and on MTV Sports on Facebook. Elijah's really practicing hard to be a Kumu one day. Join us same time next week, and good night.